Hello, 7th graders. This is Mrs. Oliver bringing you today's lesson. We are switching it up and going to some geometry and going to talk about angles. Now, some of you, this might be a review for some of the different types of angles we're talking about, depending on what you did last year in 6th grade. But for the most part, this should be new material. Okay, so today you will identify the different angle pairs, and you'll also be able to find the measurement of a missing angle. Okay, we should already know how to classify angles that are acute, right, obtuse, and straight. This is what you should already know. And then we're going to use this because tomorrow then we're going to solve problems that have angles that have equations in them, and we have to find the value of the variable in the angle. So let's do a quick review on talking about if an angle is an acute, an obtuse, a right, or a straight angle. Okay, so if I look at this angle here, and I'm looking to find out what is this angle. Is that going to be, well, I look and acute means is less than 90 degrees. So this one is, yes, acute. All right, how do we know something is 90 degrees? Well, we know it's 90 degrees. A right angle always has this little square like we have on this one and the little square we have on this one. That means they are 90 degrees. So both of those are right angles. Okay, a straight line, a straight angle, that means they make 180 degrees. And we got two of those. That's a straight one, and then this one as well. And then we have this one here. Is this one going to quite be more than 90 degrees? Nope, it is less. So that is another acute angle. Now, something that's going to be bigger than 90 degrees, but not quite a straight line. That is where we get our obtuse angles from. Okay, and same over with this one. Okay, obtuse. So those are your 4 different types of angles that we know of about their measurement. And that's classifying them by what type of measurement is the angle. In our book, they talk about how we can name and classify our angles. Okay, so ways that you can name this angle. Okay, they always have capital letters at each of our ends. You can go in order, and that's where we get our angle A, B, and C. You can go the opposite direction, going C, B, and A. I was going to do that in a different color. There we go. All right, going this way is how then we get our C, B, and A. Or you can even go so far as just going by what letter it is. Or you can even just, if there is a number and they say it's angle 2, you can call it angle 2. That's what this little symbol here means. It's just an angle. Okay, so then if I look at that, after I draw it all over it, let's look. What would we classify this by the size? Is this acute, right, obtuse, or straight? Okay, if you said right, you are correct. You're right about it being a right angle. All right, let's look at B. All right, you can name it going from R, S to T, or going the other way, T, S, and R. It's at our vertice of S, and that is also labeled as angle 3. Okay, now if I look, it is bigger than a 90-degree angle, the right angle, so we would call this one an obtuse. All right, let's look at number 3. It's a straight line. But the same thing, you can go from L to N or N to L and put them in order of how you approach those points. Then you can just call it angle M or you can call it angle 4. Right? And it makes a straight line. So this is a straight angle. Right? Just a quick, good review for you. All right. Congruent. This is a vocabulary word that means angles have the same measurement. Now with Cami, I can't pick up and drag this angle, but I can eyeball it pretty easily. It's less than 90 degrees, so it means it can't go with that one. But how narrow is it? So this angle is congruent with this angle. And another way they'll mark congruent is if they put one line there. That means those two angles are the same measurement. All right, so here comes where some of the newer materials coming into play. So I'm going to zoom in and type in what goes into each of these. So make sure you have your notes. Either you're doing this yourself on Cami, if you're home virtually, if you're in person, or if you're at home, you can also print this out or put it into your math notebook as well. All right, supplementary angles. The definition of a supplementary angle, let me go a little bit smaller, is two angles that have a sum of 180 degrees. Okay, that is our definition of a supplementary angle. Okay, what's some proper facts that we need to know? Something we do need to know, the angles don't have to share the same ray, meaning they don't have to be connected. So don't have to share same ray, or be connected. Okay, they can be just two measurements that make 180 degrees. Okay, so what's some examples? I'm going to draw in some examples for you. All right, so we said it has to make 180 degrees. So here is one example. Okay, so say angle B and angle A. I can clearly see that I have a straight line, right? So that makes your 180 degrees. All right, another way is if I have this angle here, and we say that is 135 degrees. And then there's another angle not connected to it, and we say this angle is 45 degrees. Together, if you put those together, you get 180 degrees. They are still supplementary, even though they're not on the same line or connected in any way. Okay, an example problem, a word problem you might see is angles A and B are supplementary. The measurement of angle A is 40. Find the measurement of angle B. So what you would need to do there, we know A and B make 180. So I know 40 plus angle B is going to equal 180. This is where some algebra skills comes into play. We know now we need to subtract 40 on both sides. And angle B then equals 140 degrees. And that's my angle sign. Okay? So those are some examples you might come across today. Let's talk about another type of angles we have that talks about the measurement of them. Complementary angles. Okay? Kind of similar with supplementary, except it gets a different measurement this time. So this is two angles that have a sum of 90 degrees. Okay, so half of it. So they make a right angle. Once again, just like before, they do not need to share. Oops. Share array or be connected. Okay, so just like before, they can be off on their own. And put these all on the same line. There we go. So let's make an illustration of this again. All right. If you know me, I like my purple. So we're going to switch to a purple. Illustration. We know 90 degrees is a right angle, right? So I have a right angle right here. Oops. And I say we have an angle right here. We have angle A, angle B. They together, A plus B, equal the 90 degrees. All right, let's do two other ones. Again, say we have two angles right here. We have another angle right here. Say they're both 45 degrees. Well, we know 45 plus 45 equals 90 degrees. So those are indeed supplementary. Now let's look at the word problem. Angles A and B are complementary. So that right there is my key word to tell me it's 90 degrees. The measurement of angle A is 23. Find the measurement of angle B. So they're the sum. So we always would have to add. So 23 plus angle B is going to equal our 90. So we subtract our 23. And B equals 7. That becomes 8. 67 degrees. So angle B equals 67 degrees. Okay, so we need to pause that, and we're going to go on to our next two, and then we'll do a little bit of practice of some stuff. All right, vertical angles. Now this is talking about kind of placement instead of just measurement, but it's tied into measurement too. Okay, so vertical angles are two angles formed when two lines intersect that are opposite of each other. Now I know some of you got to see before we did our iLearn some angles, and we talked about what vertical would be. So let's do a quick image of this before we talk about more facts. Okay, so when it talks about two lines that are intersected, it's two straight lines. So here's one line here. I'm going to use the actual line. You guys know you can draw lines, right? Okay, so I have a line here, and I have a line here. All right. These two angles here, they are equal to each other. Okay, so we would say angle A equals angle B. They're the same measurement. Okay. Now, if we were given, let's go back to shapes. We'll do two more. If we have a line here, say we have a line here. Now, these two, say this one is 55 degrees. This angle is the same as 55 degrees. They're equal to each other. All right, so let's talk about some facts, though, that we need to know. Okay, this is a vocabulary where it's going to come into play now. I'm going to switch it to red. Vertical angles are congruent. There's your vocabulary word that we've already talked about, meaning they're equal. Something else we need to know is that they share a vertex, but no common ray. What's a vertex? So we need to talk about what a vertex is. Your vertex is where the two lines intersect. That's your vertex. Okay, and when it doesn't share a common ray, this is one ray. Here's another ray. They're not sharing the same ones. Okay, they, yes, are connected. Oops. But they are only connected by two lines intersecting. Those lines are your rays. So let's do a word problem now. Angles A and B are vertical angles. The measurement of angle A is 35. Find the measurement of angle B. So if we know A has to equal B and A is 35 degrees, that's what B has to be as well. Okay, the key word right there was our vertical. Last definition that we're really going to focus on today is adjacent angles. Okay, so adjacent angles, again, is two angles that share a common ray and common vertex. Okay, a fact about these. When two lines intersect, adjacent, angles are also supplementary. Alrighty, so let's talk a little bit more about what that will look like. Okay, so talking about that they have a common ray and they have a common vertex. Okay, here is my vertex, and if I have another ray that comes out from my vertex, angle A and angle B share that vertex and they share that ray. Okay, now say we have a straight line and we have a ray that comes out from there. Now angle A, say this is 130 degrees, and this is angle B. They have to equal a straight line of 180 degrees. That's what supplementary means. Remember, that is your 180 degrees. Okay, so find the measurement of angles X, Y, Z. So that means we're going from X, Y to Z. If that whole thing equals 75 degrees, so they're saying from this part to this part is 75 degrees. But we just have this little sliver of 45, and we need to find out what this is. So what we would do is we would subtract our 47 degrees from that. And this becomes 6, and that's 15, which then is 8. 6 minus 4 is 2. So then we would say that angle WYZ equals our 28 degrees. Okay? Even though I put an X there, I just wanted you to know what we were actually looking for. But it told me to find the measurement, that's what the M stands for, of angle WYZ. All right, if you need to pause this, finish up your notes. All right, let's talk about some vocabulary again, real quick, some examples. Okay, vertical angles are opposite angles divided by when two intersects, and they are always congruent. Okay, so an examples here is that this angle and this angle are congruent. Another pair that they have is this angle and this angle. Now, if I was to have to name them, I could name them as well going by their order. Okay, adjacent angles. Okay, remember adjacent means that they are connected. So if I wanted to use this angle, so angle NOM is adjacent with MOP. And there's another pair. And there's more in there. You can keep going on and on. Just giving you some examples. Complementary. That means they make 90 degrees. Okay, so angle PQN is complementary to angle NQM. Supplementary, those that make 180 degrees. Okay, so we have PQN. So angle PQN is supplementary with angle NQM. You notice whatever is normally the vertice one is always in the middle. Alrighty. So let's a couple more examples. Find a vertical pair. So we need to find a pair that is vertical, meaning they are across from each other and equal. Okay, so that I would automatically go with angles 1, angle 1 and angle 4. What about adjacent? Adjacent means they are next to each other. Now there's tons of them. You could choose 1 and 5. You could do 5 and 4, 4 and 3, 3 and 2, 2 and 1. Okay, so I'm going to actually go with 4 and 3. What about complementary? Okay, although I always sometimes tend to get complementary and supplementary mixed up at times. Myself, I always second guess myself. So if you still do that, you just learned this. That is perfectly fine. That's why we make notes and you go back to your notes. Remember, complementary is 90 degrees though. Okay, so which ones make 90 degrees? Well, if this 2 makes a 90 degree angle, that means this has to be a 90 degree angle. So there is angle 3 and 4 make 90 degrees. Then we have supplementary. Okay, supplementary is 180. It makes a straight line. We can use 1 and 5, 5 and 4. We've used 4 a lot, so let's go 1 and 5. All right. Now this one is kind of like a part that is in your homework tonight. Okay, you're going to have a list of angles you need to find, and you have to use this picture as your guide. So number 1 says find the measure of angle A. Angle A is up here. Okay, I know next to it, adjacent to it, is 42 degrees. I also know that is a 90 degree angle. So to find angle A, I have to take 90 minus 42. And 8, 48. Okay, angle B, I can easily tell you because this one is 90 degrees. This one has to be 90 degrees. So angle B is 90. What about angle C? Well, angle C is a little bit harder. You kind of have to do a little investigation. We already learned something about angle C. We can tell it is vertical from angle A, and I already know what angle A is. So it is the same measurement as angle A. I'm putting my degree sign. For measurement of angle D, well, if I know this one is 48, and I also know that this one is vertical with that one, it's going to be 42 degrees. Number 5, where's angle E? Switch my color. Try to keep it so you're not too confused. Angle E. Well, it's a straight line, so I have to take 180 minus my 127 because that is what's adjacent to it. 7, 3, 5. So 53 degrees for angle E. Angle F. Well, we needed to know E to find angle F. Okay, because once again, those two make 180 degrees. So now I take 180 degrees. Well, I really don't need to. Is also, I'm doing more work than I need to. And get to erase. Okay, angle F has a vertical angle. Do you see it? Angle F is the same as that angle, 127. Okay, 4 more. Angle G. Well, G's got a vertical angle. It's vertical with E. So it is the same, 53 degrees. H. Well, H I know is a vertical line with this 101 degrees. So I would have to take my 180 minus my 101. And we get 79 degrees for H. I has a vertical angle. It is the same as our 101. And K, that one too is vertical with H. So whatever H was is that one. So some of these, you only have to do a little bit of work, and it already helps you find the measurement of the angle across from it. Okay? So if you need to, pause that, get it caught up in your notes. And then this is where your homework comes into play. Okay? So you need to identify if they are supplementary, complementary, vertical, or adjacent. Now, some of these can be more than one type of angle. Some of these are only going to be one type of angle. So you kind of have to first look. Okay? Like 1. Well, they're across from each other. So that tells me right away that this one is vertical. Do I know any measurements? No. So I can't tell you if it's supplementary or complementary. All right. Whereas with number 2, it's a straight line. So that already tells me that we're going to have supplementary. But because they also share a ray, that tells me is 1 adjacent and supplementary. All right. All right, so they're going to go through and tell me for each of these. So for 4, you're just paying attention to angle A and angle B. Now, 7, you're naming 2 pairs of supplementary. 8, 2 pairs of vertical. And 9. Okay, so there's multiple correct answers. So you just need to find the ones that work for you. Then 10 is just like what we did in that picture. Okay, except there's different measurements. So you need to go through and make sure you do that. All right, use a ruler and construct the given types of angles. Now, if you are doing this on Cami, go to shapes, get your line, start where you need to, and draw a complementary angle that's also adjacent. Draw vertical angles. Draw your supplementary that are also adjacent, and or draw that are not. So that means they are not connected. Alrighty, use your notes, go through it, don't rush. All right, have a great day.